Welcome to the Trackside Lounge, episode 31. Spectacular work in the Hooncorp van, lads.
That was good fun.
What was that all about?
Well, you know, when we get offered the opportunity to have the afternoon at a skid pan, we don't have anything rear-wheel drive. So the first issue, well, the Pulsars are all front, the Lacinos are all front. We recently sold the Commodore, but that wasn't really in the state of...
yeah, but it's still rear-wheel drive, and you could flung it around
rear-wheel
the skid
drive
pan.
with absolutely no engine. But anyway, so
that could be an issue.
We started trawling through Marketplace looking for anything rear-wheel drive. I was looking at Fords or Commodores or BMWs or just something really clapped that no one cares about.
Yeah.
And then I get this text photo about this van that, hey, look, it's 1.8 manual rear-wheel drive, locked diff, and a bit of fun.
So it already had a locked diff. Yeah. So someone had been using it. The intent was to turn it into a skid van.
Yeah, there's a guy through Woku Dirt Track, his brother actually, he got in touch and he said, hey, look, there's this vehicle. And so I put the feelers out and we'd had a bit of a communication. And then he sent through a video. I don't know if you can put that video up later, but he sent through a video of what it had already done.
Yeah.
But the thing it still, it had a few issues and so it wasn't fit for the road. But then he got another one. He got one that was a couple of years newer. And so he goes, I'll go and do that to that as well. I don't need two of them. So he put one up for sale. He wanted to just swap stuff with it.
Right.
But gave us a price and we grabbed it. And I said to him, it doesn't matter how it goes because on Monday it's going to be up dollar reserve. And it is up for dollar reserve at the moment. For this Thursday. And first in, best dressed. And it was an absolute abomination of a thing for me because I got these size 13s that I couldn't get between the steering column and to come across to the brake pedal while I've got hard on the gas. And
hang on a second.
Gear.
Come across to the brake pedal. Two-pedal driving, man. You've got 2 feet.
Just no rear brakes.
You don't worry about that.
You've got to use the gas and you've got to use the front brakes to try and keep the car stable.
Yeah, so 1 foot on the brake, that'll be your left foot, and 1 foot on the accelerator, that'll be your right foot.
The left foot had to come across the steering column, which is down here.
Okay, now I see the problem.
No room for footy. So I managed to just get it on there. It wasn't a pretty sight whatsoever, and made a complete hash of it, but thoroughly enjoyed it.
But there was also a massive cross-section of machinery. There's a Porsche turned up.
Well, we extended the invite just to anybody, because it was only the afternoons. It was only really a small, we're only talking a few hours.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really advertised as a Hooncorp event as such, but it was a bit of a Hooncorp. We sort of extended the invite sort of to the social circle.
Yeah.
And like you say, there was a Porsche, there was a Ford Courier Ute, there was a
Falcon Station Wagon. Chris Alexander on the Esky.
Yep. So just such a spread of machinery, all rear-wheel drive, of course.
Skyline turbo.
And all having fun.
Yep. And all just basically playing. We didn't need the water at some points because we're dodging raindrops as it is.
Right.
But and it was just we had people who can't believe just how accessible it was to just show up and have a go.
Right. Now this is the important thing about that. It is accessible and it's easy. So instead of lurking out on the streets and running the potential loss of your motor vehicle, or God forbid something bad happening, find out about when Hooncorp do it, or find out about how to do it yourself. Take you and your mates along and have a whole hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course we lead up to, so the skid day was a foot in the water. We'd never done anything like that before. Will we do another one? I don't know. We'll have a bit of a debrief later on with the organising committee.
Well, you got the van now, haven't you?
And we'll see whether or not there's a market for, not a market to make money, but market like people.
Oh yeah,
do it.
It has to be
not interested in making
itself.
money. Not interested in making money at all.
Yeah.
But gee, we had some really good father-son time there. We had a couple of, about 3 or 4 guys here, father-son, like myself and Nathan. And we had the 86 Turbo. That was a cool little Toyota. The Porsche was father-son. The Starlet was father-son. It was just really, really cool to have out there. And shout out to the guys in the dirt track cars turned up as well.
Oh yeah, I saw those.
Pretty bumped around there. And of course Hampton, it's not that very nice, but the guy didn't put a foot wrong.
But they're here doing it safely in a controlled environment. It's like
that's the whole thing.
You can't be too elitist when it comes to just having a bit of fun.
Yeah,
so.
makes me shake my head on that. And it wasn't from our side. It was the cars, and they didn't drop a bit of oil. They'd even water blasted underneath the dirt track cars, made sure there's no dirt there. They'd done all the right precautions, so they didn't drop anything on the skid pad. So there's a lot of respect for the venue.
That's it, and a lot of respect for having fun in cars, because that's what this is all about. It's having fun in cars at a grassroots level. That's really quite exciting, what you've done with that. And of course, there is another track day you guys are talking about?
Yeah, we're looking at doing our first track day at Hampton, so doing the skid pan was a learning curve.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of an insight on what the track day is going to be like. And with the track day, Primarily, you've got to have this, you've got to have that, you've got to have a certain track license, you've got to have a blah, blah, blah. And we've managed to work a way that isn't the case. And we've been able to put up a price, which is a lot of money for a Wednesday on the 12th of November. It's $295, and we need to actually fill it up by the following weekend, end of the weekend, I should say, so that we can do them again for 2026 and beyond. They're not easy to get. They're really, really hard. Like if you go out there, we're trying to bring those things easier. We're trying to knock down the barriers and make it a bit easier. So if we get the first one done successfully, like the skid pan, I think there was a success there. Certainly a lot of learning from it. And it's about, exactly like you said, it's about come and do it on the track, don't do it on the road. Because on the Saturday, there wasn't one ticket, there wasn't one infringement, there wasn't one this, that. No one lost anything apart from a bit of petrol, not really much in the way of the tyres, and
I had a whole hell of a lot of fun.
Exactly.
Huge amount of fun. So thanks very much to the guys that put that on to help us put it on, I should say, and organise it as well. And we'll be looking to do some cool things on the 12th of November if we get enough people. We are getting people coming. We had some payments today, and we're getting another 27, I think.
Okay, so how do they get in touch with if someone's thinking, I'd like to do that? So it's hooncorp.com?
HooncorpNZ.
HooncorpNZ.
At Gmail, or on the Facebook page, or there's a text number there. Look at it go.
Easy peasy. Now, another one of the Hooncorp things that was taking place on the weekend, I saw the picture of it, was this young fella racing esports Porsche.
Yeah, I got involved in the Adrenaline GT series and picked the most difficult car to get started with. So they're doing a Carrera Cup series, which, you see the Carrera Cup sort of crop up around the world. Australia's got the Carrera Cup. They follow the Supercars around, and I think they're going to be at Bathurst.
And I will point out there was a Carrera at the skid pan as well.
Yes, there was also a Carrera at the skid pan.
Nice connection.
But
they were cool.
They're just such a handful to drive. And then to go to somewhere like Bathurst and expect to go up against the top of the top, it was, But we still managed the top 10.
Really? Yeah. That's pretty good. Now, first of all, you're pretty experienced in esports. I had a crack the other, and I'm hopeless, really hopeless. It just doesn't give me the kind of feedback that I need to drive a car, so I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, you get that.
Bathurst, a challenging track at the best of times. Yeah. So in a wayward car, and I'm using the term loosely for the G3, a wayward car to pull in top 10 on your first run up there. That's
it wasn't so much that I was quick. It was just that everyone else had it harder than me. Because, when you're coming across the line, and
everyone else was
people in the pits. Well, no, it's the Cup cars are so limited because they are a spec class.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can't do to them. You can't set up the suspension geometry. You can't, change this. You can't change that. It's very much a tyre pressures and a bit of aerodynamics, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, tracks like Bathurst, it's so bumpy. It reacts poorly to the bumps, and over the course of an hour, 2 hours, that catches out a few people. So it's just one of those things. The next one's Alton Park.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly much smoother.
No.
That's got its bumps.
Yeah.
So, good bit of fun though. But also over the weekend, the Motormotion E-Series kicked off.
And?
Hooncorp, 4 cars, and 2 wins in 2 seconds.
All right. That's pretty good.
That was, I've talked before about the Motormotion series. Yep. About Lewis running a very, very nice operation there. And can't really say it couldn't really be better. I mean, it could have been 4 wins, but 2 wins in 2 seconds, we love those.
See, and what you have to understand is there was 2 wins in 2 seconds, because if you got 4 wins, you'd look a bit like
wouldn't be fair on the others.
It just wouldn't be fair. So it's better to, I just crapped out of that gear change and someone beat me.
Bugger.
The other thing you guys had too a little while ago was the sim racing that you did earlier on, and it had been at Kyalami. You had it actually put up on Sky. How did that go?
Yeah, that got broadcast on Sky with a bit of a highlights package. That was pretty cool. That was a good watch for my birthday.
Was it weird? Birthday?
Yeah, Saturday.
Was it kind of weird to watch yourself racing on telly?
It was. Especially when the commentary catches the moment where you have a bit of an off-track excursion, or you tangle. There was a real good battle pack there that some of the broadcasts caught, where there was like 5 cars, 4 different manufacturers, and they were all duking it out for the better part of like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was all cool. But you don't really get much better exposure than being on TV.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a little kid, when I grow up, I want to be famous and be on TV, and you know that's
having
happened.
your name called out.
That's happened.
Once.
Yeah. So it is cool, and that can only be a good thing for for us and for the sport.
Yeah,
and for
absolutely.
Esports in general.
That's
sim
the key.
racing.
That's the key, because that's another great way of getting the feel of motorsport and to get that excitement that you want from it. At a time when maybe you can't drive a car because it's hosing down with the rain outside, or the bloody thing broke last time. Yeah. So you can have a crack at esports.
So good vision there too from Ian. Shout out to Ian Rawkins, of course, who actually sought the footage, saw that what you'd put up and everything, and said, "Hey, look, can you make a highlights package out of the 4 hour?" And so well done, Ian, and hopefully there's plenty more to come. And of course, next race meet is still a few weeks away.
End of October, start of November. Yeah. So just under a month now until we're doing the 6 hours at Spa.
So. 6 hours at Spa. Sounds good, doesn't it? Yes. Speaking of which, 6 hours at Spa, there was some endurance racing last weekend, one that we've all been associated with for a long time. The Lemons 2-dayer at Hampton Downs, hooning around at the track there. Yep. And great performances, great coverage. And what I really, and it's a massive thumbs up to the teams, getting back into the spirit of Lemons. When we got involved, it's all about getting out there, racing, involving as many people as you can in your team, but also a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, having a little bit of fun with it. You will be penalised, and it will be crazy, it will be silly, and it will be a bit stupid. But entering into the spirit of things, the teams were just brilliant again.
And that's the thing. I mean, this was the day-night one, so they don't get to do the 24 hours anymore, which I think is a massive shame. But this is the next best thing, is the finishing in the dark, and they get a good few hours in the dark too. They just miss the whole daylight savings, so it gets darker a bit earlier. They get a bit more time. I think I saw, what was it, 56 teams? It was nearly 60.
Yeah, it was,
nearly 60.
56. Yeah.
So, and the big track too, mind you.
Oh, right.
Again, we've talked about how rare a privilege that is to race on the big track.
Yep.
And again, just a Lemons event, spirit of Lemons. If you go there for serious racing, that was the Pro Series. You missed out on that one. Yeah. So
it's quite funny though, because a lot of the drivers now are starting to say, "Oh, we don't want to get penalised," and it's like, you're in a Lemons race.
Yeah,
missing the point.
Oh, but we were this. No. You're in a Lemons race. Yeah. You don't get penalised, like you said, going through the Pro.
Yeah, there's
I saw those
series
Primeras looking good, the yellow and red Primeras. They looked like a fantastic team. I couldn't get there. You couldn't get there.
No.
You couldn't get there.
I couldn't get there.
So who did the judgery?
Yeah.
If not you, if not me, who did the judgery?
Oh, mate, did you not see some
crazy judge?
Did you see some of the videos for that?
And then, of course, his sidekick, or I don't know who was whose sidekick, to be fair, Liz.
She was...
We know
cruel. Yeah. Cruel, I think.
She can be really
I don't think that really does Liz justice. She's cunning, is what she is. And you could be penalised for just about anything. Breathing out the wrong side of the mouth. That's a tough one to see when you're going down the front straight. But it was great to see. So more Lemons events coming up. Mega Motorsport, check those guys out, and they'll be able to sort that one out for you.
They've got their Highlands race coming up, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
30 days to go or something.
South Island version of that. I was down there for that last year, and on the Highlands track, it's absolutely brilliant. One of the funniest things was the walk we did around the track, and then watching the guys trying to negotiate, trying to remember what it was like. But everyone had a great time, and the local community in Cromwell really got behind it.
We walked the track, but I didn't remember all of it. I mean, obviously we never drove the track. I don't think you went around there. I didn't go around
I didn't drive it.
But, I mean, it is a huge... There's very, very famous corners there on that track. And I really wish it would have been, even just in the safety car or something, to actually see how it all went. But
it was a great performance, and a big thumbs up to one of the major sponsors down there of one of the cars. Was two brothers that have set up a pie business.
Oh, they were yum.
They're the best pies. I kid you not, the best pies I've ever had from Cromwell.
And Jenny said yes. They're okay pies.
So Highlands is one of those tracks that's got a fair few different layouts. So do they use the big, like the GT big layout?
Not the big layout.
It's got the crossover though, the figure eight?
Yeah, they had the crossover in there.
Because that's kind of the iconic. That's the thing about Highlands. You see the footage of the Porsches and the Ferraris, getting a bit of air as they sort of crest that.
There was a couple of cars that got a bit of air.
Yeah, but that was just because they were, loose, not because they were. No.
Let's not get into that. Wow. So that one's coming up. And honestly, if you get the opportunity to be in Cromwell when it's on, go and have a watch. It's hilarious fun. It really is.
On the topic, and free to spectate too.
So, yeah. On the topic of Lemons too. Obviously, none of us were here. I got kidnapped for my birthday. You were otherwise occupied. You were crook.
Dead.
Dead. Oh, that's a shame.
For tax purposes.
Did you see they missed you guys so much they actually had knock-off Nik Brown and Mike Howe?
And weren't they good?
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Weren't they good?
Yeah.
We like that.
They went shopping on Temu and they found an impersonation, and it must be like one of those Halloween outfits. Dress up as Nik Brown for Halloween.
I understand that Temu was having a massive sale, 100% off. It's not that they wanted to sell them; they just wanted to get rid of them.
Was he
rocking the jandals?
Yeah, he was actually.
As long as he's rocking
They'll actually pay you to take it away. That's how much of a discount. It's a negative.
Rightio, enough of this.
Anyway,
enough of this blather. Let's talk about Kiwis competing in motorsport overseas, and I want to do a big thumbs up to SVG, finally getting a good position on an oval, 10th position. But you know the bit behind it, he was penalised in practice and had to start from dead last.
Without his crew chief, starting dead last, and a pit lane pit. Like you'd swear that he'd committed a war crime or something.
And you would think, just to finish that race with that sort of thing, would be spectacular. Drove a top 10 finish, his first top 10 finish. The thing that bugs me about it is, people are, especially Americans, are quick to bag SVG, saying, he's a road course guy, he doesn't do ovals for, and he freely admits that, and he's learning all the time. Dead last to 10th. Building up all the way through. The guy has learned and he's coming on strong. And he's coming home with a wet sail on that one. I love that line. But Americans did nothing but complain again. So much complaints about it.
They like that.
SVG should have... No, he finished 10th. Big thumbs up, mate. And then, of course, underline that with a road course finish.
Oh, yes.
One.
Yes.
So appreciate what the guy does. He's a driver. He's really good and he's learning. And to get better... That's what all drivers want to do. You just got to learn and just get better at your craft. So don't bag him, celebrate him, and see what you can do in your racing.
Did you see the burnout?
No, I missed that.
Did you see the celebratory burnout and how shredded that tyre got? Like he come back into the pits and just the entire, it was a perfect circle of just flappy rubber.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And that's his 5th road course win in a row.
Yep.
Not 5 out of 5, but his 5th in a row. And again, the tyres were the big problem with that one too on the road course. I think they were like 10 or 11 laps in before they had to change the tyres from the first time. Then they were questioning whether they put sticker tyres on because they actually do only have a finite amount of tyres.
Now I've got something to bring up, something I saw last weekend. There's currently in the States there is an inquiry into sticker tyres.
Oh.
There is a road series, I believe it's one of the feeder classes to NASCAR. And they're supposed to have standardised tyres, one supplier, all the tyres are the same.
Right.
However, they don't all come out of the same job lot. And what they've found is there are differences between the tyres that run, and this runs week to week. Now what they found is they did a check on all the cars, because they're allocated randomly. But cars that got the allocation of the slightly newer tyres, and by newer, I mean they are 2 weeks newer. Those cars were up to 12 seconds a lap faster. And so what they did is they retrospectively took one of the cars with the new tyres, put the old tyres on and tested it, and sure enough, it's 12 seconds a lap slower. So now they're looking into, okay, how do we make this fair? So if we're going to randomly give tyres to people, they do have to be equal.
I mean, but 1.2 seconds is a big difference. 12 seconds is a week and a half.
Once the tyres got up to operating speed and cars got out of traffic, they just took off.
12 seconds is like a single lap of Bristol.
See? And that's the sort of thing that inspires the inquiry. So I thought I'd just bring that up.
Very good.
I didn't know about the random tyre allocation, though. That's a bit of an interesting sort of...
When you've got a standardised tyre, and particularly for this series, they just turn up with the tyres. They're all the same size. They're all on the same rims. They're all balanced. Yeah. And what they do is they go, okay, you get your set of tyres, you get your set of tyres, you get your set of tyres.
So if you're a team that's got, say, green wheels because you're sponsored by Monster Energy, then you actually don't get allocated those wheels, you get allocated...
They'll paint them green for you.
Yeah, of course they will.
After they've allocated them.
Nah, fair.
So, the other Kiwi that's been racing overseas, of course, Liam Lawson, a couple of weeks ago in Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan? Yeah, Baku. We just call it Baku. That's the city.
Qualified third, ran fifth.
Now, why does everybody seem to have such a short memory when it comes to Lawson? Because, he did that, right? Third, and then he came fifth, and it was awesome, really
Great
good
drive.
race. But then Singapore last night, doesn't have as good a race. And to be fair, what actually happened to him? Because he was in the points, and then he pitted, and then he wasn't.
He asked the same question himself. He said, how did I lose those 2 spots to the Mercedes cars? And it's actually quite an interesting... I haven't actually heard the answer on that. I haven't had a full look at the highlights from
So that happens, and... I mean, obviously, he also crashed a couple times in practice because guess what? Practice is for finding out the limits and, testing all that sort of stuff.
And the corner he crashed on in Singapore is a corner that someone crashes. Lewis Hamilton has crashed on the same corner. Max Verstappen has crashed on the same corner under the same conditions. So it's not Liam,
but
it's
Liam
the way
does
you approach it.
And straight away, it's all the, Sergio should be driving. What's Liam doing in F1? Lawson. They completely forget that only like a week and a bit ago, he was in Azerbaijan coming 5th.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, man. Like, there's drivers that get loved and there's drivers that get hated, but like Liam just seems to keep ping-ponging between adoration and like spite. And
Did you notice too that the week before in Azerbaijan or Baku, he all the Red Bull guys were in the points. And did you notice that at Singapore only Max was in the points?
Yeah.
Everyone else was outside the top 10. So and like you said, you have a really good week or you have a really bad week. The funny thing about Lawson having the damage in practice, when was the last time he damaged the car? I mean, other than the bumps and scrapes, that actually seriously had a big crash. I mean, starts and taking a bit of a tap and a bump and getting a penalty. But when was the last time he actually crashed and had a crash? He hasn't cost them stuff all as far as repairs on the car, and to have 2 successive practices. There's no way in eggs he wanted to do that. And Nik, what you said about this, about finding the limits in practice, that's what practice is for.
Exactly.
Sorry, Nathan, you said that. That's what practice is for. So.
And you've got these mechanical teams that can repair a destroyed car in like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You see, I don't know what the time gap was between FP1 and FP2, but they got that car turned around. And it's not like he missed any sessions because of it. So it's, I don't know.
And the one thing I'm getting tired of, I'm seeing article after article after article about Liam Lawson, because it's clickbait for us to be looking at it. But and I don't want to sound like a nasty here.
But you do.
No, you do.
Yuki needs to step up. Yuki should be. I mean, Max has not been supported in the same team car.
Did you hear about what happened to Yuki?
Of course not.
So summer break was not too long ago, right? Yeah. F1 drivers, or Liam went home, and everyone sort of goes off and does their holiday stuff. Yuki actually rang up Red Bull and said, give me more simulator. So he spent his holiday, he cancelled his trip home to Japan, and he spent more time in the simulator. So, he really is wanting to step up.
Yeah. Who saw the news about Yuki Tsunoda this morning?
Which one in particular? Again, we're fresh off a GP. There's always going to be the Aston Martin.
This is the 3rd time that I've heard this rumour. Okay. And apparently very, very close to signing. Well, allegedly.
So who goes? Is it Stroll or Fernando?
It's not Fernando, let's put it that way.
Fernando reckons he's going to give it 1 more year.
Well, can you hear the drums, Fernando? Ooh. 1 more year. And then he's going to go to rallying, isn't he?
Well, he reckons, because next year, you got to remember, they have a huge overhaul of the cars. No more DRS, completely different. Like it's got the biggest reg change.
No DRS.
Yeah, they're changing to some other system, but
it's a catapult system. They'll go around a corner and there's a big rubber arm comes up and flings them.
So it's the biggest overhaul to the cars in a fair few years now, right? We're after the turbo hybrid era. So Fernando reckons that he's keen to give them a go. If it goes well, then he reckons he'll finish on a high. If it goes not so well, then he'll see. So it's. I mean, he's the last man standing from the V10 era.
Yeah.
So he's driven the V10s, he's driven the V8s, he's driven the V6s, the turbo hybrids, and now he's driving whatever we're going to call this new era of F1 car. So
the flat twin turbocharged car.
The air-cooled.
I'll go back to what I originally said.
Here we go.
I think Yuki needs to step up. Yeah. I think if they are, I'm tired of hearing about. They've signed Max, they've signed Isaac, right?
Yeah.
They haven't said anything about Liam and about Yuki. So that's a smack in the mouth in itself. That's saying we respect these 2 to sign them, but these other 2, hey, we'll just play this silly game. And of course, all the clickbait New Zealanders here is all about the New Zealand driver.
Yeah.
But the Japanese driver, Yuki Tsunoda, who's been 5 years now behind the seat, he was stepped into the team to take over from Liam, who had a couple of bad runs in earlier this year in the Red Bull car. He needs to be up there. He should be supporting Max. How much support has Max had this year from either of those 2 teammates? Mm-hmm. One guy who's still literally learning some of the tracks this year. I think he's now got experience in all the tracks. And another guy who's been in the game for 5 years. And call a spade, he needs to step up. You said about he went and did the thing through summer. That's what he needs to be doing.
Yeah.
Because he's actually a paid professional. And Red Bull are terrible at the way they look after their drivers because they don't. It's as simple as that. If you don't step up and do the job, you're gone burger. And both of those guys are on the edge of the cliff at the moment. And today, the Singapore race, they were on the edge of the cliff. I don't know if they're going to stay on with the team in 2026. And the problem is, nobody knows because they don't think to actually tell you or give you any sort of. They let the rumour mill run. And we shouldn't be listening to these made-up stories.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't even be making up stories like that to tell you to go and look at the stories that are made up anyway.
I think they are starting to realise that, like Red Bull, so many of their staff are. Adrian Newey's gone.
Yeah.
Christian Horner's now gone. All these key personnel that made Red Bull. And I'm not saying they won't ever be successful again, but that winning formula that they've enjoyed for the last how long is now gone.
Well, Christian Horner's rumours about him now teeing up.
But, McLaren, they've sealed the Constructors' Championship, so that's back-to-back Constructors titles.
And to that's a great turnaround for McLaren. That is a real good turnaround.
Just hope they can get out of it without any friction, because at the moment, Oscar and...
that ain't going to happen. But mind you, how much of that is created by the media to put a story around it?
Yeah, but when you do the different, like they have this whole papaya rules thing, and everybody talks about papaya rules, but then you do stuff like swap the drivers because he had a bad stop, and it's nothing to do with him, but because he had a bad stop, swap him around, and then the next race, they don't. It's just that sort of consistency.
Mind games.
Yeah, I don't know. You can see Oscar's a bit not the happiest at the moment. Hey, look, we're not here to contribute to that rumour mill necessarily, but it is. You got to wonder.
Okay, do you want a Formula One connection with one of us this week?
Oh,
yeah.
I've been working with a Verstappen, whose name is Mac. Mac Verstappen.
Mac Verstappen.
Yeah, it's another job I do. Now, while he isn't a racing driver, guess what? He is actually related to the Max Verstappen in Holland.
So is he actually saying to you that that's how you say the last name? Because I always thought you were making up Verstappen. There's no H in there.
That was the first thing we did, is we made sure that was correct, and then we dug into a little bit of history and giggled and laughed, and I filed that away thinking I'll be able to king hit these guys with that later on.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Fair enough.
That's the happy one for this week.
Standard.
There is one other thing that I want to bring up. I met someone a couple of weekends ago. Yeah, when you're out and you meet someone of a like mind about motorsport, this person has been here from South Africa. She's a competitive cyclist now, but she also was in South Africa, used to ride BMW 650 motard bikes, and brought one over with her when she came over here. She's been here about a year. And I said, so what's it like riding on the road? She says, I don't. And I said, why is that? She goes, I don't know, either the roads are narrower here or the cars are wider. It's really hard to negotiate down the motorway, and you can't anticipate because people don't think ahead. Now, this is particularly in weekend driving. And this was a question that I just burst out laughing. She said, can you tell me, in this country, what is it with Tesla drivers and Prius drivers? Full stop.
Okay.
That's from and she's ridden all over the world. She said, but specifically in New Zealand, the worst people to be around when you're in your car or on your motorbike, either drive a Tesla or a Prius.
So is that corporate cabs or is that Uber?
There you go.
Is that the door delivery of the food? Or
I don't know,
shocking.
But wherever Ange comes from, that seems to be the big problem in her area. And to be honest with you, Ange, I totally agree 100%.
Yeah. No, I can't argue with that. They are shocking, and they seem to march to the beat of their own drum. Priuses, even those Aquas, very, very popular vehicle, which is similar to a Prius hybrid, and Teslas. Just don't start on Teslas.
Maybe it's the ones that have that little red sign at the back that says, this is your fair car and things like that. Because they're getting used a lot and that sort of thing. Rightio, getting back to motorsport, because that's what it's about. One of us has had experience on the track in a Porsche Bathurst.
That's this weekend?
Yeah.
Don't ring me. Don't text me. Don't look at me. Don't even think about me. Don't offer anything. Don't go anywhere near. This weekend comes up.
You know what happens when you tell the internet not to do something?
Yeah, I'll turn the phone off.
Yeah.
I don't have the internet on my phone.
Way specifically to get in touch.
I don't care. Unless you're Ron Dawson, who I do care. Everyone else don't care. No, if everything's turned off, Bathurst is a sight to behold. One day, my dream will be to go to Australia. I think I've told you before. Go to Australia, go right through the whole week.
Yep.
Friday to Saturday, watch the top 10 shootout, get on the plane, come home, close the curtains, don't ring me, don't talk to me, don't text me, because I would love that with the whole atmosphere.
Yep.
But the race, I'm a nerd. I love the distances. I love to hear all what's going on. Why did that wheel come? What happened to that?
So you wouldn't be sitting up on the hill?
Oh, no,
I was going to say, how many people do you see parked up on the top of the hill and all that sort of stuff in their camper vans, and they've got the TV all set up?
But they're half
and they've got
sozzled. Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
But they're half sozzled. And the worst thing is, years ago, I went to a car club. I was vice president of this car club. And they said, oh, no, what? We'll use this huge screen we've got in our thing here, and we'll have Bathurst on. Oh, this is great. Let's go there and be a part of it. And me and your mum, so we go to this thing, and we're sitting down there looking at it, and people wouldn't shut up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, will you shut up? We're like 5 laps in, and they all want to start talking and telling their experience.
I remember that time I drove a V8 Holden.
Yeah.
It's like, we've all driven a V8 Holden. It's not that big. Shut up, I want to watch the race. And when people, and then you get a knock on the door, it's like, you do not come in.
It's funny, after hearing you talk about that, Mike, I know exactly how you feel.
You shall not pass. And no, you can't come round. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. No.
Right,
We actually do. I don't know if I think I've mentioned it to you already. We've actually been invited out to Bathurst for the 12-hour next year.
Have we?
Because a mate of ours has got the campsite reserved and all that.
That's a Bathurst 12 hours.
That's GT3.
That's not Bathurst. That's just Bathurst 12. That's watching Volkswagens and people that can't speak English for a first language. I don't mind that. But I'm talking about Bathurst with V8s and 650 horsepower.
Is that what they've got now?
Something like that, yeah.
Mind you, they're slower than the 12-hour
Well, that
cars.
was the whole thing with the GT3, with the, was it Gen 3? Yeah. They were talking about how much easier it was, how much less aero they had and how much slower they were. Which
And the big cars have been slowed down. Touring cars, Angus
Yes,
Fogg, those guys have been
yes.
slowed down because we can't have them being faster than a V8 Supercar.
Although-
Why not? Well, we don't like it.
Although there's a big black and gold Mustang that could have just tipped everyone's hat shooting down
Foggy's
Conrod. That would have been
but that's a gorgeous
bullet,
car,
wouldn't
isn't
it? And it probably would have
car's
outbraked
gorgeous.
them into the corner and been able to shoot around, because that's actually, look, if you're going to watch Bathurst, it's well worth catching all the racing, particularly when they bring out the classic cars as well, because that's what I like a lot.
And I still hope, I don't know how they've tuned the car back or geared the car back
yeah,
for
it's
the speed.
a diff limited or
I
something.
want the flames out the back of that Mustang, because I'll
Oh,
tell
he'll
you,
make
I'm
sure
not a
there's
Ford
flames.
guy.
He'll
I'm
make
not
sure
a
there's
Ford
flames,
yeah,
don't you worry.
But
Don't
that
you
thing
worry.
looks absolutely awesome, you know?
Yep, so Ford people would like to see the flames coming out the exhaust.
Yes.
He would like to see the flames coming out from underneath the bonnet.
Stop it.
All right, that's it, Bathurst for that one. Quickly, as we head towards summer, Speedway is coming back.
Oh, yeah.
So looking forward to that. And quick congratulations to Maxi, the number 1 New Zealand sprint car driver, picked up Rookie of the Year in America. He's been racing up in the States, and he's going to be competing for the Australian sprint car title this summer as well. And so he's going to be doing double duty New Zealand and Australia. So Max Guilford, 2 number 1s, mate. Go for it. It's going to be great. Waiuku Dirt Track has got practice coming up soon.
Yes, beginning of November. They'll be starting, I think 2 weeks after that is the first race meet, the 16th of November. So really looking forward to that. And, you know, with the summer series of New Zealand Motorsport, we get quite a lot of variations. I mean, obviously the rally season sort of winds to a bit of a halt, so we don't have the big rally sprints and things like that. But then we move into the dirt tracks, we move into the speedways, we move into the circuits, we move into the motorbike, solo
Drag
bikes.
racing?
Endurance,
drag
all that,
racing, some of the
yeah.
endurances and that. I think endurances are pretty much sort of through the winter, but yeah, drag racing, you did right, they're very weather dependent. So it's a huge plethora of motorsport. I know. I remember someone else said that recently. I thought, I'll grab that word. But it is this huge amount of motor racing that you know we have in New Zealand, and starting from the dirt track to the touring cars and you know the Porsches and all that sort of stuff, and so many different classes. And I was just thinking, you know, what do we have through? So maybe that's something we can sort of develop in the next few episodes of what summer looks like.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if you're involved with a motorsport club, and it doesn't matter, it can be like just you and your mates hanging out, it can be the next event coming up that you're competing in, we can talk about it. So get hold of us.
Let us know.
How would they email us, chaps?
Just use the Hooncorp email. We'll probably set up a Trackside Lounge email at some point. I think we're...
But the Hooncorp email?
Yes.
That's where you do, and let's get sorted for summer, because racing is with us. That's Trackside Lounge for this week. Trackside Lounge for this week. We'll be back next week with more of this kind of stuff. Oh, and possibly someone getting their ass burned in a 1,000 horsepower car.